Hello folks, welcome back to our PTR playing of Reaper of Souls patch 2.1, and we've just done in the previous episode our first Greater Rift of the Tier 1 variety. So now we're going to go for Tier 5, since we got the level 5 keystone by killing the Rift Guardian. I'm going to go ahead now and open that. If you want to learn more about the Greater Rifts, then I talked a bit more about them in the first episode, so if you haven't seen that, then go back and check that out.
Unleash your power, champion.
So it'd be interesting to see how much of a difficulty increase a level 5 Rift will be in comparison to the level 1. Initial impressions are there's not a whole lot of difference, but we've got a champion pack here, so I guess we'll put that assumption to the test, and that was fairly easy. I have seen people doing up to level 25, maybe even higher, level 30 or so, which I'm guessing is going to be about the difficulty of Torment 6. Incidentally, the character I'm using at the moment, this Crusader, is not geared anywhere near enough for Torment 6, so how far we'll get through our rifts I'm not too sure. But that's the great thing about these Greater Rifts, is that they're like a benchmark. See how far you can get, how powerful is your character. Of course you don't have to do them solo, which is what I'm doing at the minute. You can do them in groups, and if you do well, your progress is going to get recorded on the brand new leaderboards as well, which I didn't mention previously. One of the features that I am looking forward to actually are the seasons. They're not yet available on the PTR, but Blizzard have said they will be available for testing soon. I don't think a lot of people are going to bother testing them because it's really a feature that's not going to be used until the live game has them available. But the idea of having a fresh start is something that's going to appeal to a lot of players, I think. I know we don't really have an economy in Diablo 3 now that everything is bind on account, or everything that's worth anything is bind on account. But it's still nice, sort of like playing on a server you know, where you're going to have to build up your artisans, start leveling from level 1, and just trying to see what sort of gear you can find. And of course, at the end of each season, everything will be rolled over into the non-season anyway. How that's going to work with characters, I don't know. I guess your character's just going to become a non-season character, as it does in Diablo 2. And then, say, if you do a season wizard, you'll just have 2 wizards if you've already got one on the normal servers. And then I guess you'll just like delete it, because there's no reason to have 2 characters of the same class in this game on the same server type. I guess that's the one thing that separates Diablo 3 from Diablo 2, or one of the main things, is that you could have multiple wizards, or multiple sorceresses as they were known back then, or multiple barbs, or multiple paladins, or whatever else they were, because you couldn't reset your skill points. So if you wanted to go for a frozen sork, you could do that. If you wanted to go for a lightning sork, you had to create a separate character. It's possible within the last couple of years or so they did let you reset your skill points, but that certainly wasn't the case when I used to play Diablo 2, and I used to play that game a lot, a good few years ago now. Mainly before WoW, in fact. Before World of Warcraft came out, I loved Diablo 2. In fact, I know that I'm not a marketing dude, and obviously I don't have Blizzard statistics, but I wouldn't be surprised if the success we're seeing today in World of Warcraft, and it still is the biggest MMO in history, at least paid subscription MMO, the success that that game has is owed a large in part to Diablo 2. I personally know, if, obviously myself and some of my friends from Diablo 2 moved over to WoW, and I'm guessing a lot of people who played that game did also. Well, we're on the raid difficulty Greater Tier level 5, and we are staying ahead of the timer. We're not taking a lot of damage, although we are, at least I am noticing, mobs are taking a little bit longer to get down to kill. Possibly on the next tier, if we get it, which I'm presuming that we are going to do so, I might bring my wizard in. Going to say sorceress, then getting confused because I was talking about Diablo 2. I mean, my wizard isn't great either. I certainly haven't been able to play Diablo 3 as much as some of the hardcore players. By hardcore I mean people who play a lot, not people who necessarily play on hardcore servers, although many of them do, of course. I guess I'm more of an average player. Hence my Crusader, which I can't show you because you can't open the inventory in a Greater Rift, has around 850k damage or DPS, and I think it's 12 million unbuffed armour. I don't know about healing, that's not a stat I've really paid attention to. Although I've heard that the healing stats have been buffed. I haven't yet experimented with it myself in the PTR, so I can't comment on that at the moment. Stay away from the frozen, although I have got this champion buff on. Akarat's champion. It boosts my armour but not necessarily my resistances. I've got a treasure pygmy here. In the last episode, the one we killed sort of just disappeared randomly. And if that happens here, then I suspect that we won't be seeing them in Greater Rifts in the live game. Yeah, it did look, it just disappeared. So it doesn't really seem like there's any point in them being here. Obviously no monsters are going to be dropping loot, so let's just get them out. We're still ahead of that timer, but it is closer. Certainly closer than it was in the last rift. What happens when you run out of time? I am actually not sure of the answer to that question. Whether you can complete the rift or whether you get booted out, I don't know. It might be that you can just complete the rift that you're doing and you're not going to get any further keys. So then you'd have to go back to a normal Nephalem Rift. Or it might be the case that you just get kicked out as soon as your time runs out. I really don't know. It's not something I really want to try out, to be honest. Especially because it took me so long to get my first Greater Rift key. I had to do, I think, about 7 rifts. 7 or 8 Nephalem Rifts. I tried them on all sorts of difficulty, but in the end I got it in my first public game. So I'm not sure if that makes any difference or not. What are we on here? 78%.
Patience.
I haven't been playing Diablo 3 too much lately mainly because I've been playing Final Fantasy X, believe it or not, of all things. That has been eating right into my personal gaming time. But when the expansion came out for a month or two, I was just playing Reaper of Souls non-stop. I really was into it again. I think it's really helped to revitalise the game, and I'm kind of hoping that the ladder system or the seasons system is going to do the same thing again for me and bring me back to the experience that is Diablo 3. The core game always has been a lot of fun. It's just a shame that some of the design, some of the way the features were designed, such as the campaign and the difficulties in the vanilla version of Diablo 3, just were they were poor, to be honest, and I think that's what let the game down. Of course, the auction house didn't help much either, but that's gone now as well. So I don't like Waller. One thing people have been complaining about, it's not something that we've experienced yet, is that the damage, the output damage of monsters increases excessively as the rifts get to the greater tiers. So while you might, you know, not have any problems dealing damage to the amount of health the monsters have, the fact that you cannot get hit a single time just makes them overly compensated for. So maybe Blizzard will look at that. It'll also be interesting to know whether we'll get the option to open a lower tier rift with the key that we're using. So let's say I get a level 7 tier key for completing this one, but I don't think I'm ready to go to level 7. Could I open another level 5 with it? At the moment the answer is no, but I do think that should be a feature we have access to. And I hate this missile dampening slow time thing. I'll just take the poison like a man. Erathon is not going to be around for too long. And yeah, look, I guessed level 7, and that's exactly what I got.
I'm overburdened.
Looks like we got a legendary as well, some boots. Not much else to write home about.
I'm returning to town.
Wonder if we get any more experience. Nope, we get the same amount of experience as the previous rift. I hope this is a crap legendary, seeing as how I am on the PTR. It's not bad actually. It's got no run speed on it though, so I would certainly be enchanting that thing. But it's got good all-round stats on. Right folks, I think we're going to call it quits there now and pick up next time with our level 7 rift, so please do join me for that. I've been your host Fuzzfinger, and I'll see you next time guys for more of the patch 2.1 on PTR. Take care, bye for now.